I'm tired of the Dodgers.
Shohei, man.
Shohei and who else? It's what's
Yamamoto.
His name? Yamamoto, yeah.
Yeah, the pitcher.
Yeah. He might as well be the most famous person on the planet. He's in everything. But my wife didn't know who he was because she doesn't follow sports. And when we went to Japan, like maybe a year, 2 years ago, she was like, wow, like beauty standards are like so different here. And I was like, what do you mean? It's like, they're just so more accepting. Like they have this model, he's such a regular guy. And like, you see, he's like in all these ads. And I'm like, my wife's name is Ari. I was like, Ari, that's Shohei Ohtani. That's like the most famous baseball player in the world. That's like the best baseball player of all time.
He's a normal looking guy.
Yeah, she was just like, wow, like they're just so like cool and accepting, you know, like this guy's just a like he's a regular looking model. I don't know if we've been recording, but
We have.
Oh, we have?
Yeah. But it's fine.
I was gonna say, when does it start?
It has started.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Talking baseball.
Dunking on my wife not knowing who Shohei Ohtani is.
That's the thing about sports. It's nonpartisan, if we want to, use such language.
Sure.
And it is so communal. It doesn't matter, right?
Doesn't matter.
You just want someone. It's something about the human spirit, the grit, the confidence, the grind.
It's a good story.
That you want to see someone succeed.
There's just something about like the indomitable human spirit when it comes to sports, and this idea that like you can always try again,
right?
And that it's like never over. And there's something about that I wish kind of existed in artistry, but like there is no winning in artistry. You know, like winning is relative. Like
right.
I've met plenty of people who have Grammys or platinum records or whatever, and like that's kind of like winning the World Series, right? But like they're not happy. And so like when I watch sports, there's a sense of jealousy that like they have a definitive and kind of communal version of success, right? Like it's like when you make it to the show, like you made it to the show, but then you're like, well, I want to win,
right?
You know, the World Series, or like I want to win a ring, or something like that, right? Like you do it, and then you kind of tell yourself, all right, like I'm done, or
right.
like
there's an end.
There's an end. There is no end with a music,
right,
or any artistry career.
Creativity is just. And art is just so subjective. That's the other aspect of it, because take your story, other stories that have been grinding for a number of years, making great music.
Thank you.
And then suddenly the algorithm says, okay, this song.
This is good.
And then all of a sudden like, hey, that Harmless.
Yeah, but that's something I wrote about the day that I put out the record, where this record cost a lot. If that, not like money, but it's like, I always tell people about how when you make things, it has a price, and an emotional price. You can always recoup money you lose in life, but like emotional cost is like a different thing, right? And I thought about how much that costs and how much it took to put out, and like all I could think to myself was that I had a certain expectation for myself, which was maybe like a very poor decision on my part. But like you have this expectation when you create this piece of art, right? Or like that it's going to transcend, and it's going to transcend yourself and your racial identity or your identity or any of these things. And like people will like that so much more than, like the like maybe not so likable parts of yourself, right? And, these things take time. And I think when I put it out, it was like kind of a lonely day. My wife isn't here. I had like a lonely dinner, and I wrote about this and about this feeling of just like, well, who's to say? I put something out 10 years ago that I also had a certain expectation for, and it didn't pan out at the time, but then eventually it caught up because it was earnest and it was honest, and maybe the algorithm was kind to me in that aspect, but I was like, who's to say? Maybe this thing in 5 years or 10 years will find its audience, and I do say that with confidence, but at the same time I'm also just like, man, but like now how do I recoup this emotional cost in the interim? And I feel like that's what a lot of my music has been about.
What's really curious about the words in terms of the press release and the description of the album, which is called By Them, By You, By Me,
Yeah.
is the word rejection.
Yeah.
This rejection of the career that you poured your heart and soul into in some regards, right?
Yeah.
And why a rejection? Because it's a breakup, right? You're trying to say breakup of, it's kind of separating yourself from the business side of the art.
But that's, that's life. Life, I'm beginning to learn that, like, we make bets, we make bets in life because we know what our situation is. And if we desire change out of that situation, we make a bet on something that we might not necessarily see work out. But we do it because we want something that's better, right? And I think that, like, to take out the part about, like, with art, that it's like not a job, that's why I'm in a suit and all this stuff, because it is a job to me, and like, I love this job, but I'm making bets. Like, my job is making bets, right? And when you say By Them, By You, By Me, I'm like, I named it that because it's very much like this rejection is personal. It's also from, like, very direct, and it's from everybody. Like, everybody has a hand in winning just as much as everybody has a hand in losing. And I think when it's out of your hands, it makes it a lot easier to separate, but it always starts with me.
Right.
Because it's just like, what am I doing wrong, right? And then it's like you, and it's like, well, no, it must obviously be you, right? And then by the end, it's just like, oh, it's the world.
It's them.
It's them.
They don't get it.
They don't get it. They're not. And I think, like, that's been kind of the story of, like, my life, like, being here in the U.S., because, like, I came as an immigrant, and, like, the moment you come in as an immigrant, especially, like, if you're, like, of a different, race or something like that, like, and I have a name that I never thought was funny until I came to the U.S., like, you kind of just experience a sort of, like, just rejection to just your existence. And I think that's ramped up, as time has gone on in the U.S. And so, like, when that's happening, and I viewed art as this thing that could transcend that rejection, when that transcendence doesn't happen, it just feels like just cold hard, like no one's feeling me,
right,
type of thing. And I was like, I think it'd be not fun, but I was like, I think maybe I should make a record about that. And it feels timely because things got worse.
Yeah.
But, like, I think that's, like, almost all I've known. I've known rejection, and I've tolerated rejection because I think, despite how negative I sound, I'm very optimistic, and I have a lot of love to give. And I think that's all I got. And when you're in love, sometimes you just don't know how to take rejection for an answer, because there's something about that where, like, when you love somebody or when you love something, you're just like, I'm gonna do this until the wheels fall off. Like, there is no, like, when I look at my marriage, I'm like, no, there is no, like, divorce. Like, we gotta, like, put in the work and figure this out, because, like, I don't see myself doing anything else, right? And, like, it's really easy to stomach rejection when you have that kind of passion, because you're just like, no, I there's no alternative, And I think that was the case coming to the U.S., where it's like, my mom brought me here because she remarried, and it's like, there is no alternative. She would always use that as a turn of phrase of when I got in trouble or something like that, she wouldn't be like, oh, you're gonna go back to Mexico or whatever. She would just be like, what are you gonna do? Because there's no alternative. And since then, it's just been ingrained in my mind where it's like, well, like, I can't really give up. There is no alternative. And that song that, went viral and all that stuff, like, that came out of, I was doing, like, I used to do stock for a college kitchen for the college that I was going on, and I was working in the back as a dishwasher and all these things, and I was like, you know what, like, with this money and my borrowed instruments from friends and all this stuff, like, this song is gonna this song's gonna get me out of this, you know? And it didn't for 10 years.
Right.
But like, I was like, nah, I refuse this rejection. I'm gonna keep trying. It's just one song. I'll put out more songs and who knows, you know? And so like, even though rejection it has a permanence in my life, I don't know if I could be an artist without it, even though it hurts. And it hurts really bad right now.
I was going to say, it's got to hurt really bad.
It hurts really bad.
I saw the post you shared on socials.
Yeah, it hurt. I mean, I'm hurting, you know. I'm not going to deny that I'm sad. I definitely have described this as like, you know, when you break up, you're like, I've been eating better. I've been, you know, trying to sleep more. I've been exercising a lot. I'm down on the weight, which is just the same kind of things you do when, you know, you go through a breakup and, you know, you're like, I got to be mindful of, you know, if I go out with friends, I can't just be drinking and getting sad, you know. And like, I'm aware that like I'm trying to figure out the phrase to use that's in English, but in Spanish, it's like when you're in a roller coaster and you're on the way down, it's like you're in like this part.
You bottomed out.
I bottom out, but it's like you're coming up.
Right.
Right? You're gonna come up. So you just gotta stomach the tunnel. You just gotta like,
yeah.
And that's kind of how I feel. And so it's like, I'm gonna travel and I just wanna hang out with my wife and dogs and figure out, cause I know, you know, even before I got here, I've been trying not to record music as like a practice, cause it's all I've done for like 10 years. There's never been a lull. Even after I got hit by a car, a friend let me borrow a synthesizer, and I was making beats and all this other stuff on bed rest, right? And this is the first time where I'm like, let's just see what happens if we just completely like take our hands off. Maybe this is the move. Maybe this I described it to my therapist as like when you write like your little love letter to like someone you're gonna break up, or like you tell them like, I think the last move I got is we gotta break up. And maybe we'll find each other. But I'm obsessive, dude. I was on the way here, I'll grab my phone and I'll voice memo a melody and be like, we'll come back to that, you know, or like this. And like the song is coming in my head and I'm like, just go home and let's just get to it. It's just like, nah, man, man. It's literally like, wow, it's literally like when you're going through a breakup, it's like, oh, I just saw her Instagram. I gotta reach out. I feel like it's just like, no, like chill. Yeah. That's literally how I feel right now, where I'm like.
But as an artist, that's obviously a good thing. When moment happens, the moment happens.
Yeah, I mean, I wanna try. I wanna try to not do it.
With this new album, what was the intention coming into it, and then how did it evolve into this breakup?
You know, it's really funny. It's before I got here, I asked my press person, like, with every interview, I'm like, am I being like too much of a bummer? Like, I don't want to feel like I don't appreciate having a record deal I love all these things, but like when I answer, because I'm about to answer your question honestly, it just sounds so depressing that I feel like I'm kind of an ingrate, and I'm not. But this is the genuine answer. I came into it assuming that it was over, that the ride was over. You know?
Why?
I think because constant validation is a type of drug that I don't think is, you can't buy it, and so you can't get your fix from it, and also you don't get to pick when you're gonna detox from it. And so like when you go viral and you see celebrities use your song, you see your song everywhere, you're scrolling, you see that, you see your numbers go up and stuff like that, that gets you going, right? And eventually everything in life tops out, right? And I think I started to see the top out, and I was like, I'm gonna follow this up, and I'm gonna make a record that is like, it's gonna be hooks, and it's gonna be like hope springs eternal. So like I'm hopeful that like one of these other songs is definitely gonna be like the next one, right? Because I need my validation fix, and I cannot live in a reality where that doesn't exist, because like now this is how I feed myself, and it's afforded me a life that I enjoy, and if I don't make it happen, then it's over, right? And so I did the thing that like you're supposed to do. I went to a producer, I co-produced it with him at Sunset Sound. I did like the whole like it's a, I have a vision, it's a rock star thing, like hell yeah, like, and then, you put out the record the way that, records get put out or whatever, and it doesn't have, I came into it with the expectation of like,
going to have an impact.
It's gonna have an impact. It's gonna keep going, right?
Right.
And that's not the case. That wasn't the case. And so I became afraid that the label was gonna lose trust in me. And again, this is all assumption. I thought the label was gonna lose trust in me. I thought my friends were gonna lose trust in me. I wasn't able to like clinch the opportunity. It felt really like, despite having this momentum, I felt like I was fighting the exact same battle I was fighting for the last 10 years, which is like just starting out, but I'm just starting out while also like hitting these benchmarks.
Right.
And so there's this like big like confusion there, and I was getting desperate, and so I like kind of created this reality where like it just wasn't going to work out, and I was going to have to go back to working retail or working whatever, and a lot of that fear got amplified because like 8 years ago I was run over by a drunk driver and I had to learn to walk again, and all these other things. Like I still have chronic pain, and so there was this intense, pitfall that I think I'm gonna fall into. There's this song in Spanish called Sabor a mí. It's a very popular song. And that song makes me cry, and has always made me cry as a kid, because there's a line in it where it's just like, I'm not gonna pretend, it's like, it's a love song, and in this part it's like, I'm not gonna pretend to be your owner. I am nothing, I have no vanity. But it's those lines. I am nothing, I have no vanity of my life. I give what's good, or I give my best, because I'm so poor I got nothing else to give. And that's how I felt for a long time, where I was like, I'm gonna give my best despite my limits, because I got nothing else. And even like when you listen to like my big song, it's because like that was my limit. Like I didn't know how to do a lot of things, but I was like, this is the best that I can do. But I think it's worth it, right? And to go back to kind of what you were saying, it's like, that's how I go into it every time. I'm always trying to give my best despite knowing my limit. And this time I was like, I'm going to entrust a mixer, and I'm going to entrust a producer, and I'm going to entrust all these things, because like maybe what's been missing in my life is these kinds of, expenditures that weren't available to me. And once I hit it,
right,
big time, baby, like that's it. We cross over, because that's been the sauce that's been missing. It's not there. I start to feel like, well, this was fun. Ride's over. Time.
One album.
One album. I was like, yep, all right, well.
That's it.
I'm done.
Back to this is just a hobby now.
Yeah, kind of. I was like, well, like, they're probably like disappointed. Because if I'm disappointed, they must be disappointed. Like no one's feeling it, whatever. I try my best, and I should have opened it with this. I never try to look at numbers, because like numbers are, they're never high enough. They're always low. But I knew that based on what I could compare it to that I had, I was like, I failed. And so I came into this record being like, cool, like this is the record I'm gonna get fired to.
This is your swan song.
Yeah, so if I'm gonna get fired, I might as well do whatever I want. And so I didn't even tell the label I started it. I didn't show them demos. I didn't do anything. I kind of started writing it as the last record was getting put out, because I was just like, there's a song where I'm literally saying like, show me what to do, like tell me what you want. Like, I was already starting to feel it. and it just kind of poured out of me. And I was like, all right, you know what? If this is the last one, like, how would I want to do it? And I was like, well, you know what? I want to produce it. I want to invite my friends to help mix it or give me ideas. I want to have my good friend from college master it. I'm going to do the jackets, and it's going to be my handwriting, and I want it to be like my art direction and my idea. And when I turn it into the label, it'll be like, it's done. This is it. Like,
you can't
take it or leave it. Yeah. And it turns out they were like, this is amazing. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm glad. But even then, I was like, I can't hear any positivity.
Course, yeah.
You know, I'm just like, no, I came into this thinking you're going to fire me. Like, you can't change my narrative. and it's still like that, you know, like anytime we do any of these things, I'm like, I ask Claire, our press person or my A&R or whatever, I'm like, hey, so like, when's the shoe going to like fall? And all they do is like support it more and more. And it's only me. It's like the only person, I think my own worst enemy here is...
Tortured artist right here.
Tortured, yeah.
It's never good enough.
It's not, I literally wrote a song about that. It's called The Bluff, where it's like...
One of my favorites.
Thank you. I'm glad you listened to it. But it's like, that song was inspired from like conversations with my artist friends who were like talking to me about like having shows or, you know, festival bookings or whatever. And like, I've never dreamed of such a thing. You know, I wanted it, but like that, no one's given me that, like or I've never earned it, I guess. But hearing them, I was just like, oh my God, like I must sound like this to some people. And like, it's never enough. Like, why is it never enough? And then it's like, because it's not, it really is never going to be enough. In
any industry, in any facet of life.
No.
And even just like in living a life, okay, you're married now, when's the kids coming? You know, when is the big house coming? When are you going to move? When, so forth and so on.
I mean, those are that's...
Right, so, but those are expectations from family.
No,
now, you have expectations from record labels, executives, and TikTok numbers and
whatever, and followers, and throw more stuff at the wall. And
were you always like this though? Was this just ingrained in you from a child? Was there something?
I mean, my mom always said that if I'd been the first kid, she probably wouldn't have had more kids, because I was just always this intense. I grew up next to a cemetery, and my greatest fear in life was death. But not dying, but like what happens after. And I'll never forget that I was 8 and we were at the mall, and I started crying on the escalator, and she was like, why are you crying? And I was like, because I was thinking about what happens after you die. And, you know, I thought of what nothing was, but a black room is still a black room, and a white room is still a white room. So like, I don't know. And she was just like, she held me and she was like, that's not going to happen for a long time, so maybe you should stop thinking about it. But I still think about it, because I'll be like, I was 8 and then I was 19 and then I was blah, 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 blah. So like, I've always been, unfortunately, this interest.
Thinking of the...
Everything.
Yeah.
I can't, I will overthink myself into oblivion. It's so bad. That's why when I make records, like this record, the rule was, we're going to be in the studio for 2 weeks, and that's it. I have to impose a limit on myself. I have to impose limits on a lot of things that I do, because if not, I can't.
That's progress for you.
Yeah, well, that's been my whole life. But what helped, maybe poor choice of words, was getting hit by a car. Because when I got hit by a car and I relearned to walk again and all these things, the analogy that I best used was, when people talk about learning a new language, they're always talking about it as if, like,
it's such a struggle.
Well, like, as if there's more time, like I'll get around to it. Like there's more, like almost like a video game where it's just like, oh, like I can save now and, you know, try again later. Like, don't worry about it. And like, I was always like, no, dude, like it's going to end. Like all of this is no, now, like do it. Like
urgency.
There's urgency. Yeah. But in that kind of like urgency, I was I was also able to find the like piece of like, you know what, I don't have to get to it. And if I don't get to it, I never will. And it's fine. So like when the conversation of like kids or house or whatever like comes up, I'm like, if it's the right time, it's the right time. If it's not the right time, then it isn't. Like, I can't plan for life. You can't plan for, you can make your best bet, and that's it.
And if anything, you'll find your people that appreciate what you make, feel how you feel, or be able to empathize with how you felt in this moment.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you're doing this for yourself. And to have had that sense of freedom where you're like, well, I guess this is the end, I'm just going to do what I want to do. And that those are always the moments where you find your true self and you create something magical. So
maybe this is
no, I am saying it is.
I agree with you. That's the reality. It's at the end of the day, again, I'm radically optimistic, even though I don't sound like it. You know, everybody who says they're a realist are just like pessimists in disguise.
Right.
I genuinely mean that, like, even though I'm realistic, at the end of the day, even if I see strife, all I can think of is that on the other end, there's got to be something, because there's no alternative.
Yep.
Going back to what my mom said, there's never an alternative.
On that note, congrats on the album.
Thank you so much. I
Great
appreciate
to meet
it.
you.
Great to meet you too, man.
And best of luck with everything.
Yeah, I think it'll pan out.
It will.
Yeah.
Harmless, right here on B-Sides.
Thank you.